Hi guys, welcome to South Carolina. As you guys can see, the setup for today's podcast is a little bit different. As you know, the name of the channel is Experiences, so this is one of my experiences. So, quick question: which U.S. state is the only one that commercially grows tea? You might think it's California, but no, it's not California, and it's not Hawaii either. But it's actually South Carolina, and that's just the beginning. Welcome back to the show, and today we're headed south to a state where the Civil War began, where baskets are woven the same way they were 300 years ago, and where a single stretch of sand called Myrtle Beach draws millions of tourists every single year to a town of barely 40,000 residents. So let's get into it. First, the name, South Carolina. It's the Palmetto State, and there's a great story behind it. In 1776, the British Navy attacked a fort on Sullivan's Island near Charleston. The fort's walls were built with a special wood called palmetto logs. And there's a thing about palmetto logs that make them so special. So these logs are soft and spongy, so when the British cannonballs hit those walls, they didn't shatter them. The wood just absorbed them. So those cannonballs basically didn't do anything that would have destroyed brick walls otherwise. And the fort and these logs, this is how they earned their way onto the state flag forever. Fast forward 85 years, South Carolina makes history again, but this time as the first state to secede from the Union in December 1860. Just a few months later, Confederate forces they fired on Fort Sumter on Charleston Harbor, and the American Civil War officially began. So whether you're talking about the Revolution or the Civil War, South Carolina was right in the middle of it. But some of the state's richest history isn't about the battles at all. Along the coast, you'll find the Gullah Geechee people, and those are descendants of enslaved West Africans who, because of the isolations of sea islands, preserved their own distinct language, food, and traditions. One of the most beautiful expressions of that culture, sweetgrass baskets. In the low country, using techniques passed down for more than 3 centuries, you'll see that they are sold on roadside stands. Each one a piece of living history. Oh, and that tea I mentioned, it grows on Wadmalaw Island just south of Charleston, on the Charleston Tea Garden, the next commercial tea plantation in the country. So the next time you sip American grown tea, you'll think South Carolina because that's the only place it's made. Alright, let's head up to the coast of the star of today's episode, Myrtle Beach. Here's a fun fact right off the bat. Myrtle Beach wasn't always Myrtle Beach. In its earliest days, it was simply called Newtown. Catchy, right? Eventually, it was renamed after the wax myrtle, a hardy shrub that grows all over the area. Honestly, good call. Myrtle Beach sits at the heart of what locals call the Great Strand, a nearly unbroken 60-mile stretch of beach running along the coast. 60 miles of sand. That's why part of this place became one of the biggest vacation destinations on the East Coast. And the numbers are wild. The permanent population of Myrtle Beach is around 35 to 40,000 people. But every year, millions of visitors pour in. Imagine your hometown's population multiplying by hundreds every summer. That's daily life on the Strand. Now, if you're a golfer, you already know where this is going. Myrtle Beach calls itself the golf capital of the world, and it backs that up with roughly 90 golf courses packed into the area. 90. You can play a different course every weekend for almost 2 years and never repeat one. Down on the boardwalk, you'll find the Sky Wheel, a Ferris wheel standing 20 feet tall. When it opened in 2011, it was one of the tallest in the country, and it's still the postcard shot of the city, glowing over the ocean at night and giving the riders a view all the way down the Strand. But my favorite Myrtle Beach fact, it's about dancing. Back in the 1940s, at the beach pavilions along the Strand, young people started developing a smooth, laid-back swing dance set to rhythm and blues. They called it the shag. It caught on so completely that today the shag is the official state dance of South Carolina, and people still gather at the beach clubs along the coast to dance it. A whole dance style born right there on the sand. Now, this podcast wouldn't be complete without my experience. So my journey started in where I live in New Jersey, and it was a 10.5 hour drive time. And I started around 5 a.m. and reached my hotel around 6 p.m. And we took about a 2.5 hour break where we split it into three parts, where one of them was for half an hour, one of them was for an hour, and the other one like that. So we started in hot, smoky weather in New Jersey because unfortunately there have been wildfires in Canada and the smoke has been carrying down into the States. And then slowly, as we got into closer to South Carolina, we started experiencing even more hot and humid weather, but none of the smoke, which was amazing. And this is where I'm staying is really close to Myrtle Beach, and I see a lot of palm trees, which I think is why it doesn't snow here, and it's really amazing. It reminds me a lot of tropical places like San Juan and Florida and places like that in Hawaii. And it's also really amazing to see how you can see so many waterways and so many animals in this place. And I also saw a lot of places for tourists. Like I saw an aquarium right close to the ocean. I saw the movie theaters. I saw a water park on my way here, and I saw multiple restaurants with a bunch of local cuisine, some Mexican, some Italian. And it's, as I said, it was also kind of like Florida and California. So all the plants are kind of the same, kind of native like those humid and tropical places. And on my way here, since I lived in New Jersey, I passed, of course, New Jersey. I passed Delaware. I passed Maryland. I passed Virginia, North Carolina, and finally South Carolina. So some of the most notable places I passed were, well, first the Delaware Memorial Bridge, which is an amazing, it's a bridge which is like a twin bridge, and it's the color of white, and it basically welcomes you into Delaware, and it's really cool and amazing to see how the architects like completely designed that perfectly. And the second thing I saw was the Chesapeake Bay, and it's really amazing because it's a really big bay with a lot of wildlife, and there's a lot of scout camps. And if you guys have watched one of my previous videos, Rodney Scout Reservation is right there, and you can see people boating, you can see them going on motorboats, canoeing, kayaking, things like that. And it welcomes you to Maryland, and it's one of their most pride and symbolized symbols. And the third thing I saw was Fort McHenry, which if you pass I-95, you can see the Fort McHenry Tunnel. And that's the place of the national anthem of the United States, which I thought was really amazing. I searched it up, and we passed right under that tunnel. And then we didn't go into Washington, D.C. that much, but we could see on the distance from our highway, we could see the Washington Monument and a little bit of the Capitol building. And next we saw the south of the border, which is in Dillon, South Carolina. And it's really a cool place. It's campy, neon lit, and it's a Mexican roadside attraction. And to cap it all off, we finally reached our destination, Myrtle Beach, after such a long drive, and it was really amazing and rewarding to see the boardwalk and the Ferris wheel. So let's recap. South Carolina, first to succeed, home of the war-stopping Palmetto trees, keeper of the Gullah Geechee culture, and the only state growing your tea that you love so much. And Myrtle Beach, a tiny town with a gigantic identity. 60 miles of sand, 90 golf courses that keep you occupied for your entire stay, one very tall Ferris wheel, and the birthplace of a dance that the entire state made official. Not bad for a place that started as Newtown. So if you enjoy this episode, please share it with someone who's planning a trip to South Carolina or a road trip, and even if they think they know their state trivia. So that's all, guys. I'm gonna go back to my enjoying, and see you on another episode.